What is going on, everybody? Welcome back here to the channel. I'm Sean Davis. Make sure you guys hit the thumbs up button and subscribe here to the channel if you guys are new. You guys have been incredible with the support over the past week. Literally, we have the past 4 days, essentially, have grown over 1,000 subscribers over the last 4 days or so. You guys are incredible. Hit the like button, subscribe here to the channel. Trying to hit 20,000 subscribers by the playoffs. That is a crazy goal, but we're going to see if we can accomplish it. And you guys have been awesome with your support, as always. And joining me once again is my guy, Corban Ford. You guys can find him at Twitter at Corban NBA. Does a bunch of great stuff for Swish Theory, has his own podcast, the Indie Hoops Podcast. I always know Indie Basketball.
You got it.
There we go. I always
you nailed it.
botch it. Or think I botch it and then, have to redo it. But Corban, my guy, welcome back in, obviously. Fun game tonight against the Clippers. I don't think a lot of people expected it to go this way.
No. I really thought, I thought it could go one of two ways. I thought it'd be a tough, competitive fight to the end. The Lakers may or may not win. Or I thought it would go the way that, I'd say a quarter of the last 40 Lakers-Clippers matchups have gone, where, it's pretty much over early, So this was the opposite. I think I texted you at halftime. I was like, this is the Lakers. I did the first quarter. I was like, the Lakers are doing the Clippers like the Clippers usually do LA.
Yeah.
It's hitting the mouth real quick. Clippers kind of found a way back for a second where they felt like they're getting some traction.
At the beginning of the third.
And then Lakers put the kibosh on it. And literally, Ty Lue put his bench in, deep bench in, with 6 minutes left in the fourth. That was, which for me, I'm like, oh, dang, the white flag, early, but that's just how effective the Lakers were. I mean, you had LeBron 8 of 13 from the field, looking spry, down for loose balls. Gabe Vincent knocking down threes.
Scared us with the loose ball.
He did. Because at first I'm like, oh, he's just taking a breather. Then I'm like, oh, no, the way he felt was kind of awkward. But then he got back up and I was like, all right, cool. But he should not be doing that. But even that, that shows the energy and the intensity. Oldest guy on the court for both teams diving to the floor. Yeah. It was just one of those games for LA where the effort was there from start to finish.
Yeah, so the Lakers have now won 8 of the last 10 games. This is a major game in the standings, Corban. Now the Lakers have created, not a lot still. It's still the West is still very, very compact. But they've now created a 2-game separator between them and the Los Angeles Clippers. The Houston Rockets, who have lost 4 straight games, still the 3rd seed, but the Lakers are only 2 games out of the 3 seed right now. They, with the Clippers, they still play the Clippers 2 more times on the season. Specifically with the Rockets matchup, let me see really, really fast. I could be wrong. I want to say they've only played once. Yep, they've only played once, and they play each other twice in a span of 2 weeks late in the season. Both games in LA. So getting on a run right now is awesome. Actually, matter of fact, the last Houston game, April 11th, this is the last Laker home game of the season, and it's also the second to last game of the year, the game before Portland on April 13th. So these games can really, really, really start to have major implications in standings. And they're only 4 games back of the 2-seeded Memphis Grizzlies, who the Lakers seem to play really, really well against and did match up well against when they had AD. I don't know. I don't know actually how I feel about LA Memphis now with no AD. I would have to really, really think about that.
Because Luka brings his own strengths and own weaknesses. So you're right.
Yeah.
That will be interesting.
I feel we would have to think that out. I don't know. But Lakers anyway, like I said, they've won 8 of the last 10. Let's get into tonight's game. 122-97. It felt like, to your point, that the Lakers tonight made it just an extra effort to go, you know what? Let's give Luka a show. Let's show Luka Doncic, who showed up, who arrived to the game, obviously, sat at the end of the bench next to Bron and Bronny. There's a funny clip going around of Bronny arguing with the fan and Luka loving every minute of it. LeBron James, 26 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, 3 steals. Rui Hachimura, I mean, magnet ball for the Lakers was in full effect tonight. They had 18 threes. They had 18 threes on the night. Jarrett Vanderbilt hit a 3, Corbin. Like,
Yeah,
that's how you yeah.
Yeah, that was something else. When he, no hesitation from the corner, pointed back, him Porter Jr., KPJ got the tech for stepping out onto the court. Like it felt like I think there was a tweet too. It felt like with Luka in the house, it was like, oh, like be on your best behavior. Let's get this place looking nice.
It's like your mom said, hey, we got company coming up. Hey, if you don't make your bed, make sure the bathroom's clean.
Yes, everything's sparkling. Can I get you some lemonade? Like everybody was on to the nines, dressed to the nines.
Yeah.
Austin
Reeves, 20 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists. Gabe Vincent, 12 points, 3 assists. 12 points, 3 boards, 2 assists off the bench. He hit 4 threes. Dalton Knecht, 14 points. He hit 2 threes. What would be your biggest takeaway to start from this game against the Clippers? We're used to like this is kind of the reverse of what we've been used to. Maybe not last year. I feel like last year, even though last year, even the Lakers were kind of just more resilient and they fought back.
Yeah,
it
felt more like a dogfight, but they won. Not like, oh, we had you from jump.
The Lakers jumped on the Clippers immediately, and like it never, even when the Clippers made their run, it still didn't feel like, in my opinion at least, didn't feel like the Clippers were going to come back and win. It felt like it could be closer. They would have liked it to have been, considering how well they played, but it never felt like the Clippers were going to win. Am I tripping in that, or do you
No,
agree?
I mostly agree with that. I think for me, I had a little bit of worry when I got to like 15, just because we've seen the Lakers have moments where they get a lead and then, things fall apart. This is mostly like a last year thing, but we saw a little bit too this season where it's like, oh, and the run just keeps going, But the way the Lakers played, the energy, the intensity, the frenetic activity they brought to the game, that's where I was like, okay, they'll get it back, And so that's the first thought. The second thought, and this is like the point to answer your question, they hit a lot of threes. And it wasn't just the fact they were hitting threes, it was the fact they were taking threes of confidence. You know what I mean? That's what I thought was big, because every time they did get a little bit closer, bang, Austin Reeves with a 3.
Austin hit a big one in the third.
Yes, he did. Like you said, Dalton Knecht. Gabe Vincent hit a couple of tough ones off of, transition action where they sent a double to LeBron, quick swing to Austin, quick swing to Gabe in the corner at the slot, like different areas where he was just, hit what, 3 or 4? Like that I thought was the big equalizer in this one, where the energy helped, the activity. One team just wanted it more, and I think the Lakers did. But their outside shooting, which they've been on a tear the last, I want to say 3-4 games, it came again today.
Yeah. It's always fun when your favorite team can just hit threes out of nowhere. I had an observation, and I kind of observed this for the first time at least. I mean, okay, the Lakers have always been a switching team. They, for the most part, have switched a lot this season. There's been stretches, especially with AD was here, that look, we'll play a little bit more drop or whatever. But like going back to that Boston game, a little over a week ago now, like 2 weeks ago now at this point. I thought their game plan defensively in that Boston win a few weeks back was spectacular, and I had credited for being one of their best defensive game plans of the season. And the Clippers have not been a ultra spectacular offense this season. I do want to get that out there and get in front of that, because I know that's going to be the comment in the comment section below. Please leave your comments, but that's going to be one of the comments going to be, man, Sean, the Clippers are 21st in offensive rating, or whatever. Like, this is an impressive performance. I would disagree, because again, I think one of the things I've noticed, Corbin, recently from the Lakers defensively, I mean, one, I think they've just executed the switching and some of the stuff they've done a lot better. And this might sound complicated without me like having a whiteboard. I could pull up like my whiteboard drawer, but like I don't know if that's gonna be like too boring or not.
Bust it out.
But essentially, the Lakers are still. But I bring this up because with Luka coming here, it's very similar to what the Mavs did last season, especially in the playoffs. So basically, the Lakers were so willing to switch. It didn't matter if it was Dalton Knecht guarding Kawhi Leonard. They were saying, nope, we're just going to live with that switch. And then what the Lakers did a lot was, which I thought was a little interesting, Lakers would willingly switch that screen. And most times, players are going to try to size you up or whatever and then get into their moves. So they would let you get the switch and then immediately go send a blitz or go send a double right away and then zone up on the back end. Now, this is a little bit different compared to Dallas in the sense of like Dallas last season, which just literally let you blow by Luka to the point where ESPN brought up a stat that was never used before called blow bys, which I think isn't representative of the full story because when you watch Dallas last year, like, oh wait, this is like actively part of their some part of their defensive game plan was look, we're gonna have this switch happen, then we're gonna essentially have Luka pass off the guy instead of actively trying to guard him in space, and we don't have any rotation behind him. No, we're going to switch the screen, the initial screen action, and then Luka's now on ball. You're gonna be like, oh man, I got Luka on me now. Can't wait. Let's go.
Yeah.
Blow by Luka, and now you're running to a wall that is PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively, etc. Right? That's the biggest difference. I don't think LA is willingly letting you beat them off the dribble. LA is going more, we're going to give you the switch. You have essentially like 2 seconds to make a move because if you hold the ball any longer than like 2 dribbles, we're sending a double and we're just rotating. And I thought the Lakers' rotations tonight were spectacular. Shout out Dorian Finney-Smith, Jared Vanderbilt. I think LeBron as a helper is still a capable weak side help guy. And the good news, I mean, especially when Bron's locked in, the good news about Luka, which again doesn't get talked about, Luka Doncic is having his best, I think, in every impact metric. And we really quickly want to fact check this. But in basically every impact metric, Luka Doncic is having his best defensive season of his career. Now, that does not mean he is a good defender. No, I'm just saying that this is his best defensive year of his career. If you look at defensive LeBron, which is typically a B-ball index, data point, if you will, which basically just evaluates your defensive impact. Luka Doncic has a C defensive impact this season. For comparison, last season, Luka Doncic's defensive impact or defensive LeBron category last year was actually a B. If you go back to 2023, which I would say is one of the more disturbing years, D defensive LeBron. And this year,
a lot going on in that year.
Yeah. And like Luka does some things. I think this year in particular, we've seen Luka's ability as a deflector in the passing lanes. I think he has an A- passing lane grade per B-ball index, B grades in both pickpocket rating and off-ball chaser defense. I do think he's like put in more effort. He's a good help defender, or has been a good help defender this season. So like, I don't know. That was a big takeaway for me, considering him playing in Dallas last season and kind of how they operated defensively. I don't know. Do you have any takeaways on that? Apologies for the ramble there, if you will.
No, I didn't have a lot to add to that. I think it's interesting kind of considering taking stock of his defense and how it's going to fit on this team. Because, again, it kind of goes hand in hand. You brought up the adjustments and how the Lakers' rotations were on a string and they were crisp and everything was working out well. And the fact that, Luka, I think when engaged, I think he has motivation to be engaged here. He's not a total defensive liability. I think the last couple of years, people forget like he's definitely stepped up, and we know that LeBron can. We've seen it in moments, we see it in high leverage matchups late in games. He can kick it back to that gear. He just can't do it all game, But that's why you have these workhorses out there. You have Dorian Finney-Smith, you have Jared Vanderbilt, you have these guys with effort and energy to kind of help along with that. So, am I concerned a little bit? Obviously, like Luka and LeBron, as much as I could say LeBron could dial it up for minutes or whatever, and Luka's not that bad. Like, defense is not their strength anymore. For LeBron, it's not his strength anymore. For Luka, it's not his strength, right? And so that is just something that to consider. But I love the context to it because it is important to take all that into consideration. That, like, hey, if you're saying, oh, he's just totally bad defensively, you watching all the games, you actually look at the numbers, like, are you really on it? You know?
Yeah. It's interesting. It's interesting, man, what this team's gonna do heading into Thursday, because they sent a statement tonight. They sent a statement tonight to Robin in the front office. This is their last game before the deadline. This is the last game they play on deadline day, but obviously it's going to be, later in the evening on deadline day. So before we get into our actual deadline preview, is there any other major topic or talking points that you want to that you have from tonight's game?
Not really. I'm trying to think. I'm like, the center rotation was interesting. I think Jackson Hayes was really good actually tonight. Like, it was a good Jackson Hayes game for the most part. Aside from that, no, I guess that's one of those storylines that's going to be kind of sewed up for better or worse by the trade deadline to see how that big rotation actually looks like. But ultimately, no, I really thought that Jackson Hayes would engage for the opening tap around the rim, really saying, hey, I can do this role. I can do this pick and roll thing,
Yeah, so Anthony Irwin, friend of the show, and this is from a Twitter account quoting him. So apparently Anthony said that the price for Claxton is Rui, Gabe, which you have to do those two for salary, a first and a swap.
Nah, I'm good. Like, I don't know. Is it too reactive to say, like, no, that's a lot. That's just a lot for and what does that do exactly? Like, Claxton gets us, like, he's better than Jackson Hayes, but no, no, not for me. I would not. That's too much.
So my problem, my problem with that is you are really so. Let's pull up the trade machine. Why don't we? Because like the starting lineup is pretty easy. Then it's Austin or Luka, Austin, Braun, DFS, AD. I mean, jeez, Claxton, not AD. See, it's gonna take me a little bit to get adjusted. I don't even know if you caught me saying AD.
Took a second. It took a second. But I didn't.
All right. Let's see. Let's get this shared. So this guy, the problem I run into if you do that. Never mind. We'll just go like this. This is the problem I run into. So Nick Claxton, $27 million. There's a lot of concern about the contract where, really quickly, all right, he makes $27 million this year. Right? That might not be the most appealing thing in the world. But it would also kind of be a long-term play too, because look at this contract after this year. 25 million, 23 million, 20 million. So may not be the sexiest right now, but like as early as like next season, maybe even, you're going to be looking at that contract and going, oh, nice. This is awesome. We have a really good starting center. I don't know if I could go all-star caliber center, but you have a really good starting center at $25 million, where Isaiah Hartenstein, who I would also say is a really good starting center, not quite all-star level center, is making $30 million. So I would feel good about that.
You feel okay?
I in terms of the contract, just solely the contract. Not sure why Rui's picture doesn't want to pop up, but Rui Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, this trade right here is successful, and the Lakers like technically shave not a lot, but they do shave some money there. All right,
I just worry about your backup guard spot then.
sure, absolutely fair.
And Rui has not been great, but I wouldn't say he's been horrible.
Yeah,
for a guy in Claxton who like you have, I guess him. I guess you keep Hayes as your center rotation, and then Vando's your 4. Don't know if I like Vando starting with Luka and LeBron. No, LeBron and Luka. I'm trying to think of what on its head the trade makes sense. I guess I'm just thinking like after that, you know?
Yeah. The thing is, so like now you look at the roster. Like I said, the roster. I wish it was where like I could continue and look at the roster. But all right, Braun. So like I said, Luka, Austin, Braun, DFS would start, and then Claxton. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Vando, DK, Jackson Hayes. That would just be the problem right there. That's easily the problem, like you said, is your backup guard spot. And Gabe's been hooping. I just don't feel good about trading like a swap to like what's their second round. If you could get a so like there was an idea tossed out on Twitter, which was essentially like, well, just get a couple of seconds or whatever in return from Brooklyn in that deal. Then you probably just have to do that. Use the seconds to go get another guard or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know though, man. Yeah, I don't know. Well,
it's a lot. Like I don't know. Like I said, I'm still going my first gut, which is that's a lot. Like I get it. And when I say it's a lot, like I mean Nick Claxton is a good center and I upgrade over Jackson Hayes, but I would just want to be more if I'm doing that plus picks.
I was under the like even if you took out, I mean, this is supposed to be 2031. Even if you took out 2031 and just did the swap, I'd be more willing to do that. That's just tough though. That's tough. I want to set the stage really quickly. I do think they make a trade. I am very, very confident that Austin's not getting traded.
Yeah, especially after tonight. He's gonna fit perfectly.
Yeah. I don't think LeBron. Don't think he gets moved. Regardless of what I said the other night. And what I said the other night was more speculation and more what I think that you should at least consider. Because at the very least, I think they're gonna give a fair shot at seeing how good is the fit. Maybe it's a tremendous fit day one, and by give it a shot, meaning like the rest of the season. I think an Austin trade wouldn't at the earliest happen until the summer. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at there. So yeah, let's set the stage there. So Corban, toss me out some of your favorite trade targets. Let's see if we can put together a decent little package for them.
So I'm still I again, as it keeps fading away, I know it's probably not likely. I'm still a Miles Turner truther.
All right.
But since that's I'm just saying, like, just in general, since we've seen Luka come on the team, I wonder if it'd be easier, especially with again after the press conference, Pelinka talking about a bridge center. If maybe instead of going like let's kind of put Indiana on pause, what if we went back to Brooklyn but targeted Darren Sharp?
I mean, that's super easy in theory.
Yeah. It's a move within the margins. You probably don't have to, give up too much for that. And you kind of get that archetype kind of player, Center spot's not a strength, but like I do think he's undervalued and would be really good in LA.
Yeah. You're looking at like $3.9 million. The question would immediately become, what does Brooklyn want for Darren Sharp?
That is the question. Could you get away with the swap and matching salary?
Are we trading a swap for Darren Sharp straight up, though?
I guess you're right. I mean, I would imagine they want something. Draft picks, probably. Like in my mind, it's Brooklyn. They're gonna if they're being aggressive for everyone else they have, and I gotta take into account the potential Lakers tax. You know, I mean, the Luka trade notwithstanding, but yeah,
Let me see.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just looking at some data really quickly.
Yeah. I have another guy as well. I'm interested in throwing out there to you. Get your thoughts.
Deron Sharp grades out well. Good post defender this season. He's been utilized as a helper most of the time this season, though. So not guarding a lot of pick and roll actions, it looks like. He's being used more as like a roamer defensively, which I don't know. Could be
for this team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me look at last year really fast. He was utilized as an anchor last season, meaning he's defending a lot of screen actions. A- defensive LeBron, yeah. Good, decent screen. So this is kind of, I am mostly film over data, but like I think there's a marriage between the two, and this can help you. You're not gonna be able to watch film on all 15 players for all 30 teams. So this helps you take a shortcut, if you will. This season, defensive impact has actually dropped this season. So I'm hoping that the defensive impact dropping in a year where he's not playing like drop coverage a lot is actually, I think I'm hoping it's because of that, because then having him as an anchor defensively would be cool. Who would be the other guy?
Now this one I'm curious to get your thoughts, but what if we went to Utah, didn't target Walker Kessler, but looked at John Collins?
Okay.
Like maybe instead of that package of Kessler and Sexton, we went Collins and Sexton.
I don't know if you have enough salary at this point.
Yeah, that is true.
That's like
I was thinking Rui, Gabe, and something else.
Vando?
Nah, that's true. I wouldn't want to give away Vando. I don't mind turning over Maxey.
And even then, Maxey you would be able to do because he's aggregated
one. No, I guess you're right. We don't have enough of that.
It would be like to even get there. No, you're still not there.
Yeah. Well, then what? And would that be even with? Let's take out Sexton. Sexton would be two birds in one for me. But if we took out Sexton, that's still.
So I've seen Ruby and Gabe for John Collins does work.
Okay, that's interesting.
What's the pitch for John Collins? I've seen John Collins tossed around a lot, and I haven't actually had like a real firm opinion on it. I've kind of leaned no, but what's the pitch on John Collins?
I feel like he would be a nice rim running. Like defensively, you're not getting a whole lot there, right? I mean, he's not, I would say, objectively horrible, but he's not great there. But he is this season, and I got to see the value. But he's shooting 45% from three. He's taking more threes this year. That much I can say. Yeah, he's taking three, so guess not really that many. Just under 3.5 threes. But like he's somebody who could operate as a pick and pop guy and a pick and roll guy. He's played some center. I do like the versatility that he can offer there. In certain matchups where you do kind of still have that offensive vertical spacing that Luka likes to play with, but also somebody who isn't completely incapable of spacing the floor in any capacity. And so I think you have that balance. I think you have that addition of athleticism that you would get, alongside. Well, I guess you are trading like Rui and Gabe, but you do have that alongside a Vando, a Hayes, like your bigs. And I just think like youth wise too, like he's maybe like the bigger version of PJ Washington in my mind for like, that's what I see in my head of what he would do for the Lakers, what PJ did for Dallas.
Yeah. With John Collins last season, I thought John Collins was actually pretty good last season. I do like, I can agree that the offensive versatility for John Collins is probably the most appealing part to me about John Collins. Yeah, that would be the most appealing. He's having a good year. 18.1 points per game, 64.4% true shooting, which is like 5% better than league average. Which is, by the way, career high, not career high in points, highest point per game mark since the 2020 Atlanta Hawks team that made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Highest true shooting percentage mark since 2021, the year after the Eastern Conference Finals run. Like, I mean, I think he's proven at this point that he's just a good shooter. He had the one kind of fluky year in Atlanta of all places that kind of, I think, soured Atlanta on John Collins a little bit, because their whole thing was, all right, look, you're not shooting a three ball well either, career low in true shooting, career low in offensive impact, and things like that. Like, I do think there's some value to him offensively. Really good offensive rebounder, which is, again, also something valuable that this team could use. Good screener. A guy that I don't think he's a great post-up guy, but I do think, like, if there's a mismatch, I think you could throw it down there to him if you were to hunt for one. My only thing with John Collins is, again, I think defensively plus defensive LeBron impact metric last season. Well, I pull that up. Plus, I'm not gonna lie, if I'm doing this for John Collins and it's Utah, so who knows if they are gonna want a first round pick or not.
Yeah.
If I'm doing this for John Collins, then just go get now his name's 16. Just go get Claxton. Now, counter argument, that devil's advocate, counter's argument would be John Collins is on a player option expiring. But then, no, that's actually working against you, because if John Collins just opts out and leaves, then you look stupid. And then if you extend him, I think Corban, it would have surprised me if the Lakers try to, like, align their chips the right way. Yeah, he has a player option at the end of this summer. But it would have surprised me, Corban, if the Lakers try to align their chips to where, hold on. They try to align their chips for 2027 free agency, where you have all these guys potentially available. Now, at the same time.
Yeah, but I'm get AD back. I'm kidding. But no.
Now, really quickly, I will add that it is highly likely that a lot of these guys just, sign extensions, because of the way the CBA is, the amount of money you would be essentially giving up by going to free agency. But, like, let's look at Giannis for an example, right? Giannis is currently in the middle of a 3-year deal that I'm sorry, no, he is not. Giannis is currently at the end of his last max contract, and then he has a 2-year guarantee. Then he has a player option his age 33 season. Let's say he plays out this season, right? He plays out the season, done. Next season, he's right here. Let's say next year doesn't go so well for Milwaukee and Giannis. So now you're entering 2026 summer of 2026, where if I go to the Lakers cap sheet really quickly, keep in mind this $58 million number, they have a $62 million player option at the end of that season. Let's go back to the Lakers really, really quickly. This is their sheet heading into 26-27. Luka, well, hold on, wait.
At that point, accounting for
26-27. Yep. So Giannis is still under 10-year. So Luka, assuming either picks this up or he would have already extended. So at the end of summer 26. So Luka would have assumingly already extended. Rui's gone though. DFS is unless you extend DFS. DFS
gone.
Potentially gone. Austin, player option / extended / potentially gone. By potentially gone, traded, obviously. Off the books. 2 more years, but then off the books. And that's a pretty easy contract to get rid of. Basically, what I'm saying is there is a world, Corban, 2027, Lakers can go. We still have some picks for you. Giannis is he's gonna leave. He's gonna leave next summer. He's gonna opt out. He's gonna leave a test free agency anyway. Don't let Giannis just walk out the door. Let us give you the package for Giannis. Let you get something in return. I know I threw a lot at you, but thoughts in general. John Collins in general is a fine player. It'd be interesting to see him back in a contending situation, though.
Yeah, no, the more you say it, the more I go, you know what? Like, I thought it was outside the box selection when I brought it up, but kind of hearing you break it down, I like the flexibility that you could have by going with a true, I guess, stopgap center for the moment. But secondly, you have to wonder, and I guess is what I was thinking, does John Collins, defensive rebounding issues comparative to his offensive versatility, does one outweigh the other? And then if it does, is that still worth the cost? And although I like it, in some aspects, I don't know if you're right, if it's worth, not even endangering, but making other things get all muddled, like he's not the guy for that. The same way I was saying I wasn't going to trade that whole haul for Nick Claxton, even though I am fond of him as a player.
Yeah. Let's see. Any potential guards you'd be looking to try to go after?
That's good because I've been thinking about this one for a second.
Obviously we're looking more defensive guard here.
Yeah.
Max
Dunn?
Christie type.
Well, actually, yeah. Chris Dunn doesn't shoot the three, so no.
Curious your thoughts on Aaron Nesmith. I've seen that name get tossed around a little bit, which I'm not all the way sure Indiana trades Aaron Nesmith, but
I don't think they do, but I like him. I think he does compete defensively. I think he shoots the three ball well. Like, I do. I just don't know. I don't think that they move him.
Yeah. I'm trying to see, why is he involved in trade rumors? Hold on, let's see. Hold on. See, I'm trying to see if there's anything from a credible source, that is. Okay. Andy Starr. Trade will be topping. Yeah. I'm seeing nothing personally. I don't think I don't think he's untouchable necessarily, but I don't see why they would trade him. But if he was, you'd be interested?
Yeah, I think I would. I think he brings some additional size, good versatility, defense or offensively being able to shoot the ball, but competes after. I would be with that.
Yeah. If you did a deal, Aaron Nesmith's on a good contract. You could actually get there pretty easily. I'm actually sending out too much money. You would almost need a third team. Yeah, you would almost need a third team. Let me see. Third team, I don't know. Trying to think of a team that could absorb some salary. I don't know. Can Chicago absorb salary at this point? Let's see. Not sure why Chicago would, desire helping out the Lakers, but
Chicago has. I feel like all their pieces would be fun on the Lakers,
right? Aaron Nesmith, not to Chicago, to LA preferably. And then Chicago. Wait, we need Indiana to send out more. This makes absolutely no sense, but oh yeah, and then now they have to send out money. Yeah, no, this just makes no sense. Yeah, no, never mind. Yeah, we got a little too freaky there. I like Aaron Nesmith though. Long story short.
No, I do too. No, I think he's solid. Other guard options. That's a good one. I mean, Bogdan Bogdanovic's been talked about. I actually do not like that though. Defensively, he's not great. He's shooting 31% from three. And shooters already come to LA to die. So if you're not already shooting the ball to begin with,
we're getting worse defensively.
Yeah, no, by a good amount. Marcus Smart, what do you think?
I think Marcus Smart would be relatively cheap. I do. Simply because I just don't think Memphis has any leverage to stand on right now with the Marcus Smart thing. Only problem is that contract's like low-key disgusting.
Yeah, it is pretty. Yeah, you'd have to give up some combination of Vando, Vincent, and then maybe even a future pick swap, and that gets to that territory that I was talking about with Claxton.
Yeah, like I don't know. Would you do? Would you do this? I mean, even then that doesn't work. Hold on. So would you do this? Cam, Christian Wood, and Rui for market? No. I probably don't do that.
Once you put that, he's like, yeah.
I think I'm kind of at the. This is where I'm at, Corbin. Do I think the Lakers make a move? Actually, I'll ask you this: Do you think the Lakers make a move by the deadline at 4:00 on Thursday?
Yeah,
I do too. I do too. I have no clue who it is.
Who they go for? I mean, we didn't even see this Luka thing happening. Like, it could be some we could expect. We're talking about guards. It could be Anthony Simons from Portland and Robert Williams or something crazy. Like, the one thing that the Lakers have shown, at least his front office at trade deadline, is to expect the unexpected.
Yeah.
Because they've done that. They've done it a few times now.
Yeah. I think it's going to be somebody that we haven't either haven't heard about in a little while, or two, it's just going to be it's just going to be somebody that it's kind of unexpected.
Kind of out of left field a little bit. The guard situation is most interesting to me because I really don't have a read on like at least centers. We have a few options that have been floated about or that we can kind of recall, like, hey, he'll be interesting on this team. Guards is like a big old blank right now for me.
Yeah, like the biggest one right now that I would really, really like is Lonzo, but the problem with Lonzo is that contract.
Yeah. Oh, that's why I didn't even mention it this time. I'm a Lonzo truther, but that contract, you're giving up a lot for a part-time guy, potentially.
Yeah, you're basically parting ways with Rui. That's the other thing, too, that makes this kind of hard, is I don't know how many different needs they can tackle. Now, I just don't know how many different needs they can tackle. Because in theory, you could maybe somehow pull off a Lonzo deal and then go get a Deron Sharp. That is somewhat feasible, right? So essentially, you are replacing in salary, right? Rui and maybe Gabe with Lonzo or Deron Sharp. So you get a second big, not a starting caliber big, maybe necessarily, but you get another playable big. And then you replace, you kind of replace Gabe and Max in a way, because I think Lonzo does the stuff that Gabe does, but also like I don't even know if Gabe's been a good shooter recently, so I'll give him some slack. But Lonzo's legitimately like a really, really good shooter now. So I don't know.
34 from three, he is a good shooter. Like, yeah.
Regardless of like the compensation, let's say it's like all in all like a swap that maybe goes out to one of those two teams. Thoughts on kind of that idea where it's, you essentially going in or coming in, it's Lonzo, Deron Sharp, replacing in air quotes, replacing Gabe and Rui.
I like it. I think functionally, both are maybe marginal upgrades on who you already have, like the existing players, but they are indeed upgrades. Lonzo, for starters, is taller. Definitely can bridge the gap playing some of those bigger guards, smaller point guards or big, like quicker guards that maybe Luka would be matched up with or struggle to kind of guard. Fits better in a defensive scheme, especially in Lakers switch heavy scheme. Shoots the ball well. Another great playmaker. Like imagine the floor, just the court mapping between LeBron, Luka, Austin Reeves, and Lonzo Ball.
I mean, I said on and I didn't even know this is a hot take, but I said on Twitter that the Lakers are they're the best half court passing team in the playoffs. Luka and Braun by themselves, and then AR just stupid levels of playmaking. And I'm assuming a Nuggets fan in my comments goes, Joker and Russ must have died, and I'm like, no.
Those guys are close. I will say those guys. I mean, obviously Joker is great, and I think Russell never got enough credit for being a really good passer. But I'm still going Luka and LeBron, and I think because they are able to better leverage their scoring into passing, whereas on the Nuggets, only one of those guys can currently do that.
Yeah. But then now, like, you throw in like Lonzo into the mix too.
Yeah,
you're the best playmaking team.
I don't think that's the argument. And the Nuggets got to get out the mentions on that. And I live out here, like if you bring Lonzo in, it's a totally different scenario. But I will say there's an argument for, shout out to somebody respecting Russ is not just a Russ truther. But no, I agree. If you bring Lonzo in, it's a totally different level. And we're talking about somebody who's like can play the one, could be an off-ball two, can play the three with his size. Again, the problem goes down to his health and durability, right? Because you don't trade for him and then go, oh, we only need you sometimes. They're going to need him. But if you get him in there and then Darren Sharp, yeah, I mean, listen, like, is he a great player? No, but functionally, over Rui, he's a guy who could play the five, rebounds, rolls to the basket, gives that vertical lob threat. That's what you're looking for in a Luka and even LeBron kind of offense.
All right, final segment here. Luka did have his introductory press conference today. Not gonna lie, it still kind of felt. It still doesn't feel real. It still doesn't feel real all the way, Corban. I want to ask you this here to start the conversation. How has the kind of last 48 hours been? Basically, since we last talked, has your opinions on the trade, have they swayed, any differently than they were in the moment? Or are you kind of at the same that we were Saturday night?
They haven't swayed. I'm still just as excited seeing him in the Lakers, like sitting on the bench with LeBron. It's crazy to me. I'm like, wow, they really just got a future first ballot Hall of Famer, MVP candidate perennially at 25 right there, like in a swoop. Like, it's almost like pinch me, My brain hasn't even started to think, okay, when he's on the floor, what does that look like? Who's the best to have around him? I've started to think that a little bit, but not to the degree I will when we first see him on the floor. By the time people are listening to this, he'll have already started 5-on-5 workouts, which is crazy to think about. The fact he could be playing as soon as Saturday, but more than likely next week, is wild to me. Like, it's one of those things where, yeah, it's not real, but it is,
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at too with Luka. And it sucks because Max is balling right now. And that's the archetype.
Yep.
I think I might have said this on the show. I would have given up Dalton before I would have given up Max, personally. I mean, that might be a wild take, but I would have given up Dalton before Max.
Isn't Max younger?
I think they're the same age, actually. Unless is Dalton like low key 24?
Max Christie is 21.
Yeah, Dalton is 23. So now my Max is younger.
Yeah, Max will be 22 next week. So, sheesh. Yeah, I probably would have done the same, and I'm a big Dalton Knecht fan.
Yeah.
Or I would have seen if I could give you like a couple seconds or something. I don't know. Like, I ideally would want to keep both, but I mean, the contract did work well, and we got Luka Doncic. I'm not gonna quibble over it. Like, it'd be nice to have Max, but It's almost like back in the day where we didn't get Kyle Lowry because Taylor Horton Tucker. Like, I'm kind of on the sure thing window now. I'm kind of on that. I'm on that energy.
Yeah. What was your biggest takeaway if you had one from the presser today?
Biggest takeaway is, I don't know. I said an edge in Luka when they asked those Maverick questions.
Yeah,
You can see,
he's pissed.
yeah, he's pissed. The motivation that he's looking for, like, he has it. Like, I'm excited to see him on the floor because it was sad. Like, you see a guy who, like, genuinely thought he was going to be in Dallas his whole career, and to have that pulled out, like, you get us the business, but there's a very human element. And for Luka, I think it's the first time, those types of guys, when you're that level of a star outside of just crazy front office work, you get to choose your future. You know what I mean? Like, he's on that LeBron, Steph Curry type already, or at least he was, or Giannis, and you could even say Jokic too, where it's like you've got into a different stratosphere. You can decide where you go. Like, guys being traded might be a shock to you, but you're not getting moved because you're that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is the first time in a long time that guy was moved. And so you kind of see that in his face, like, wow.
Was moved without knowing.
That part, my fault. You're right, exactly. Was moved without knowing. Was moved against his consent, if you will. Actually, I like that way you said it. But like that. And so that's what I noticed. But also, you could see, like, he's motivated. You could see whatever fire that they were looking for, or that they say he didn't have, or whatever. Like I don't know. I think we saw it. So I'm just excited to see him come back. I have the game. I mean, I'm sure you do too. Their matchup at the end of February circled. Like, that's going to be a big one in LA. So we'll see. I know they play in Dallas too again, but like that's going to be fun. Actually, I got to see if that was. I know they play February 25th.
February 25th. They play one more time. That's in LA. They play one more time. Yeah, I'm actually a little pissed off. I wanted the first game to be in Dallas because I'm not ready for AD and Max's return to crypto.
But I'm also excited to see, like, that Luka return to Dallas gives some juice.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, where teams are, you have the final playoff push and all that, but there's another little spike of that FU energy that you usually get in November when players go back to their old squads. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm excited for.
I'm obviously, like you said, I have the February 25th game, circled. If it wasn't for my high school team likely being in the state playoffs at that point still, then I would probably be planning on streaming that, doing a playback for that game.
Oh, I'd love to have done that.
Yeah. But we'll see how my mood is after the game. If I'm in a good mood, obviously, meaning after a win, we'll maybe be able to set that up. I think my biggest takeaway, one is, my biggest takeaway from the presser is, honestly, I feel bad for Luka in a way. I think you kind of touched on it a little bit too, like, especially if that story's true. Have you heard the story about Luka like recently, like, buying a house?
Buying that house, 15 minutes. Yep.
I'd be so pissed. So pissed. It's a bummer, man. And then we talked about it a little bit then too. The logic still makes no sense. Every time Nico Harrison opens his mouth, it sounds even worse.
There's no explaining it logically outside of, I like this guy for reasons I can't explain. Like some real player love bordering on Darvin Ham and Torian Prince.
Yeah. Like, I mean, basically. I honestly felt bad for Luka watching that. That was my biggest takeaway. And then the second one kind of goes to line where we talk about the trade stuff is, I honestly don't have a clue what they do. Like, I think they do something. I'm not even sure I think they have a very vague idea of what they're going to do.
Okay.
Where it's just going to be a lot of different routes that they might try to plan on going. I think tonight may have been a loud statement of like to the front office, don't punt the season, because that's something I think that's a legit fear amongst the fan base right now. That is because the way they've talked, and kind of rightfully so, the way the Lakers have talked has been, oh my goodness, we're long term with Luka.
Yeah.
And Luka's now, he's the timeline, and they're not even wrong necessarily in that method of thinking, because you have the next 11, 10 plus years or whatever with the guy. You have, dare I say, every right to have that method of thinking. But then the team plays tonight, and they've now built up a decent little resume for themselves here. One of the biggest criticisms we had of this team recently, or like basically heading into the Boston game, was they can't beat anybody worth a damn.
Yeah.
Dominant performance against Boston. Really good showing it against Golden State the next game. Even though 10-point win felt like more, and that was Vando's return game. Okay. The Philly game is what it is, honestly. But then 3 straight pretty convincing wins. One of them is against the Washington Wizards. Cool beans. But you blitzed the Knicks at the Garden with no AD, and now you blitz the Clippers on the road technically with no starting big. And Jack Hayes looked fine. Yeah. But like, you're still depleted to a certain extent.
It's still an issue. Yeah.
Yeah. They've built up some good wins now to where like they can look at the front office and go, look, do not punt this season. Give us a chance. So it'll be, like I said, very, very interesting to see how this how Thursday, kind of lines up.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I think it's something that we're all going to be monitoring for sure, because yeah, I think that there's clear needs still. I think if anything, kind of what you brought up, like Pelinka's words give additional context to what the Lakers are looking at. In my mind, after seeing this game especially, you go all in. Like the whole bridge thing, and then, hey, we got Cat States. Like the time to be conservative is over on that. Like just go for it. But at the same time, like you do understand where they are, and I guess going for a bridge center. I guess that's in like the words Pelinka said when it came to who they were going to go for at the trade deadline, even while he was just trying to get ahead of the question. But ultimately, yeah, I agree. Like there's need to have, we have no idea how they're going to address those, just because the way the marketplace actually is, and the fact the Lakers just did a seismic move. But curious to see what they look at and how they do it.
Absolutely. Well, guys, this is our trade deadline preview. If there is any bombshell news, please do not happen between 6 and 9 p.m. Eastern time Wednesday. Give me a chance.
Really good. Yeah, please.
But there, tomorrow, at the time it's being released, Thursday, trade deadline day. I don't know why I've been saying Thursday the entire time, like it's not tomorrow, technically.
I mean, yeah, it is.
That's wild.
Literally, I mean, on my end, I know you're in the East. It's already on that for you, and it is for me too. So yeah.
Trade deadline day is tomorrow. We'll be live here on the channel for a 3-hour live stream for a trade deadline. We'll be reacting to all the trades throughout the NBA. Then obviously, if a Lakers trade happens, we'll be having a very in-depth conversation about that, breaking that one down as well. So make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button as hard as you possibly can, and subscribe here to the channel. Go check out my guy Corban at Twitter at Corban NBA. Go check out his work for Swiss Theory and the Indie Hoops. Indie basketball. Indie.
You got it. I might just change it to Indie Hoops at this point for you, bro.
At this point, the Indie basketball.
I might just do that. Yeah.
Or at this point, I'm just gonna like staple a post-it note to my forehead that says Indie basketball, not Indie Hoops. The Indie basketball podcast. That's great work, my man. Corban, thank you so much for hopping on, bro.
Always, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Go check out my channel as well, Sports Online Show. Just kind of relaunched it. I dropped my first video back, which is a tier maker, me ranking the top 60 or so point guards in the entire NBA. So do me a favor, go check that one out. Had a blast. A little rusty, but had a blast doing that one as well. And as always, guys, go Lake Show. Catch you guys in the next one. Trade deadline day is upon us. See you guys next time. Peace out.